Alright, this is the second video on this bike motor conversion. Some of you guys had some questions and emailed me about the installation, what's involved, and as I mentioned on my past email, I'm working on a kit, but like I said, there's a lot of parts to machine and I don't have time really to machine them myself. I'm gonna have to send them out to a shop and get pricing. Anyways, I'm working on that, and so let's look at here what's involved. In order to do this conversion, well, you're gonna have to install these gears. One thing you got to do, you have to basically replace these bearings here. The original bearings are 15 millimeters, so what I did, I popped those bearings out and I replaced them with a 3/4 inch bearing with the same OD. This housing that I manufacturer made has also the same size bearing with the same size shaft. It's 3/4. And so that's one thing you got to do. You got to pop those out. On mine it was a little difficult to pop out. So what I did is heat up this side just a little bit with a torch from a distance, and I just popped it out. I finally got it out, but it was hard. Depending on the bike, it might be hard or easy, so that's one thing you got to do. Second thing that's involved once you get this kit is to install these two bolts in there, and in order to install those two bolts, you're gonna have to drill through the frame into the other side. Basically, these bolts go through and then they get attached to this. This is for anti-rotation. Now, this was my second prototype. The first one didn't have these on there, and so this whole thing, after you torque it, in other words, when you accelerate, it tweaked this, moved this forward, and it broke the gears. So this one hasn't had any problems with it. I'm working on a different way of anti-rotation, so you don't have to drill your frame, because drilling your frame requires precise drilling and a center punch to punch the holes through. Mark it and then drill it through. So I'm trying to avoid that for future kits. And the third thing that I did, I modified the bike, was these slots right here on the bike. I had to make those a little bit wider, but on the next version of this motor mount, I'm just going to make this plate different, so it's got slots in it already, so you don't have to modify these slots. So you can just slide this back and forth. You need to do that because of tightening this chain here, and as you can see, it's not that tight, and it doesn't have to be that tight. Those are the two things. So on the next version, I'm going to improve by not having to cut these slots out. You can just use the slots that are on the mount, make this plate a little bit different. And the next thing was this exhaust. I bought the exhaust, just the pipe and the flange for it, which is right here. And yeah, I had to weld it on, so that's the best way of doing it. And I just basically heated it up here, and I rebent it and heated up here, and I rebent it down this way to a point where I could put my knees here, and my knees will hit it, but it won't burn because of the covering that I have. And basically, this exhaust here has clearance here. You can't tell. Let me go the other way. So it's not hitting it, exactly not hitting it yet. It's got a little bit of clearance there. But you can make that any way you want. I just did it this way because I want it to be on top and have the exhaust pipe be clearing basically my legs. Now, another thing they asked me about was these handlebars. Yeah, these are 1 inch diameter, and this mount here that comes with the bike is 1 1/8. So I had to machine these spacers, and I put them in there. But I think you can get this type of a mount that's even a little taller with the 1 inch clamp that's already made for 1 inch. And another thing they asked me about, how did I mount this light? That's real easy. Down here with a pipe strap, I put it down here and I just tighten it, and it's holding pretty good. You can put 2 or 1, or you can put it here if you want. So this hopefully answers some of your questions. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm still working on the kit. I'll let you know when it's ready.